What's going on, guys? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm Ethan Horror. This is Ethan Horror, and today we're going to be doing the biggest ranking I've ever done on my channel. But otherwise, I just think we should get right into this because this video is going to take a while. It might be an hour long, considering I have to rank 33 movies. This is Nightmare on Elm Street, Friday the 13th, and Halloween, 13 in Halloween, 12 in Friday the 13th, and 9 in Nightmare on Elm Street. And no, those numbers do not add up because Freddy vs. Jason, I added in both the franchises. So let's get right into it.
Here's Johnny.
Oh, it's alive! It's alive! It's alive! It's alive!
Number 33, which is Freddy's Dead, The Final Nightmare. If you saw my original ranking of A Nightmare on Elm Street, you'll know this was last on that list. Yeah, it's last on this list too. Freddy's Dead, The Final Nightmare is my least favorite movie of all time. Because I don't mind the Nightmare on Elm Street sequels. 4 and 5, they're fine, but I don't hate them. I don't like them, but I don't hate them. This one, I hate. Because every decision they do, you'd swear they're trying to make a Sharknado movie because every decision they make is the wrong one. They cannot make a right decision to save their life. They try to do everything with humor. Nothing lands. They try to do creative things with the kills. Nothing lands. Freddy sucks. He doesn't even act like Freddy. He doesn't sound like Freddy. He doesn't look like Freddy. He's not. There's nothing. This is so irritating because the characters suck, the kills suck, the humor sucks, the killer sucks, the acting sucks. How did they mess up everything? But number 32, Halloween 5, The Revenge of Michael Myers. If you saw my Halloween ranking, you'll know this was my last place on that list. It's always been my least favorite Halloween movie. I do not like The Revenge of Michael Myers. Kind of like Freddy's Dead, it does everything wrong, but it doesn't, it kills off one of the great characters from 4. It makes the main character from 4 a mute, completely undoes the great ending of part 4, brings Michael Myers back, throws in the Cult of Thorn, and calls it a day. Number 31, the bottom 3, has a film from every franchise, because number 31 is my least favorite of the Friday the 13th franchise, and again, it has not changed. It's Jason X. Go watch my Friday the 13th video. I do not want to get into this again. But number 30, back to Halloween, The Curse of Michael Myers. Again, with the Cult of Thorn stuff. And there's 2 different versions of this movie. I don't like either of them. They would both take this spot. They both make 0 sense. They both are 0 memorable. The only thing this movie has going for it is that it introduces Paul Rudd to the acting world. But otherwise, this movie doesn't do anything. There's no point for this movie to exist because it kills off Jamie Lloyd. It doesn't have Jamie Lee Curtis. It brings in Paul Rudd, the kid she was babysitting from the first movie, which I don't know why we need him. He's like a very strange character. There's the Cult of Thorn back again, and it's just, it doesn't make any sense. 29, as I said, not a huge fan of the Halloween franchise. You can hear my full thoughts in the Halloween ranking video. Halloween 2 from 2009, the Rob Zombie one. I get it, Rob. But this is not what you do with it. Like, the original Rob Zombie's Halloween, I'm a defender of that movie. I don't think it's good by any means, but I defend it. This one, I can't defend to save my life. The only good part is Brad Dourif. Otherwise, everything is wrong. The story, Michael, I mean, I like that he kind of, puts on his mask to go in kill mode, but otherwise, all of the characters suck. all of the characters suck. Dr. Loomis is one of the most unlikable characters in the movie, and he's one of the main characters. Laurie, I guess, is fine. Michael is terrifying, but otherwise, what is there? Number 28, Friday the 13th, Part 8, Jason Takes Manhattan. Now, the reason that this movie is so high, after I talked so poorly about it in my Friday the 13th ranking, is because up to when he takes Manhattan, which is pretty much the whole movie because he's in Manhattan for like 10 minutes, it's fine. It's a Friday the 13th movie, but on a boat. Like, it's okay. I mean, it wouldn't be high on my list by any means, but it's fine. But then you get that final section when, like, the professor gets killed, like, dumped in the vat of toxic waste. After that, the whole movie just tanks. Because that whole ending where they flush out the sewers with toxic waste, dumb. They don't do that. And Jason takes off his mask. Like, what is that? That is disgusting. That is not Jason. That is a Muppet. Like a soggy Muppet. It's like really weird. And then he takes off his mask and you hear like little boy Jason talking, and then he gets melted by the toxic waste and turns back into little boy Jason with hair for some reason. I don't know what this movie was trying to do. Number 27, Halloween Resurrection. Now, I'm not completely sure where this was in my original Halloween ranking, but I spoke very highly of it in my original ranking. I said that it was not a good movie, but I enjoyed it. Kinda like it a little less now. I mean, I like the concept. The whole Busta Rhymes thing, yeah, I get it. I mean, what are you gonna do? But otherwise, I don't see the hate. It's just kind of a basic Halloween movie. It takes some interesting choices. It's not good by any means, but why is it so much hated? I mean, yeah, the whole Busta Rhymes thing sucks. How he's able to kick the crap out of Michael with karate moves. That's dumb. I get it. The whole boyfriend character who's like watching on the laptop at the Halloween party, that all sucks. And they're all like, that whole subplot sucks really bad. But otherwise, not a horrible movie. Coming in at number 26, A Nightmare on Elm Street 2010. Well, Nightmare on Elm Street, finally back on the list. It does have the least amount, so they're probably going to be the most spread out. But Nightmare on Elm Street, probably the best overall franchise. I like Friday the 13th more, but I think Nightmare on Elm Street has better range. But the remake is my number 26. Now, you probably noticed that this one dropped below a film. If you watched my original Nightmare on Elm Street ranking, you'll know that it dropped below a film for me. And it is now second to last on my Nightmare on Elm Street ranking. That's because I rewatched it and went, oh, why did I give this movie so much credit? I gave it so much credit in my original ranking, I rewatched it for this video, which I probably should have watched my Halloween one as well, but I only watched my Nightmare on Elm Street one. And I said because Freddy Krueger was so good in this movie that it was able to take a spot above the film I have above it now. Yeah, Freddy Krueger is pretty good. Jackie Earle Haley does a great job. He has a great voice, like we said in the video, but otherwise, they don't do anything. They do everything the original does, but worse. They do it with crappy, oh my god, horrible CGI. Look at this. Horrible CGI. The characters suck. They're terribly acted. Except for Freddy Krueger, like the main character, horribly acted. What is she doing? The whole possibility that Freddy Krueger is innocent, if he was innocent, this movie, no joke, would be in the top 15. But he isn't. They don't try anything new. They try. They're like, oh, he might be innocent? No, he's not innocent. No. And then you're just like, oh, well, then yeah, he deserves to die. Alright, top 25, Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers. A lot of people really like this movie. I'm not a fan of this middle Halloween chapter, 4, 5, and 6. Not a fan. Not a fan at all. I think it should have stopped after 2. And then, I mean, I do like the H2O and the new trilogy, but otherwise, this whole middle trilogy, it doesn't need to exist. I mean, he returns. It's got some great characters alongside him. The final girl is great. Jamie Lloyd is great. But otherwise, I mean, yes, I see how, like, Michael systematically takes down the town, where he takes out the power, then he takes out the police force, then he goes after Jamie. But I don't like the, like, whole Michael has a family storyline. Like, Jamie Lee Curtis, I keep forgetting her. Laurie Strode should have never been Michael's sister. Let alone should she have had a daughter, Jamie Lloyd, who is now getting attacked by Michael. Let alone, in part 6, should Jamie Lloyd have a daughter that is now being hunted by Michael. This whole family never should have happened. Never should have happened. 24, this is probably higher on my list than it is on a lot of people's list, and that is Jason Goes to Hell, The Final Friday. By the way, if you're wondering what this hat is, it does look like an Indiana Jones hat, but it's Freddy Krueger. Just trust me on it. It's fine. Jason Goes to Hell, The Final Friday, not The Final Friday, which we'll see that a couple times in this franchise, but it's not a Friday the 13th movie. It's not. But I don't hate the movie that it is. I hate that it's in the Friday the 13th franchise, because, like, Jason gets killed right away. He looks so cool. Jason looks so cool in this movie, and he gets killed right away, and we never get to see it. And then he just kind of possesses a bunch of people, and it's like, yeah, the people he's possessing are still killing creatively, but, like, it's not Jason. It's not even, like, a copycat person who looks like Jason. It's just a guy who's going around killing people. And, like, I hate that now Jason has a family. When you make the killer have a whole family that he's coming after, that's when it starts going downhill for me. Because Jason should not have a sister, or, I mean, I know the Pamela Voorhees thing, he was always related to her, but that's fine. But he should not have had, like, a sister or 2 sisters. I don't know what's even happening in this movie that can now kill them with the dagger from Evil Dead and the Necronomicon, and I don't know what is happening. There is nothing in this movie. The director went so ambitious and just failed on every level trying to make a Friday the 13th movie. He should not have been picked to direct a Friday the 13th movie. Evil Dead movie? Maybe. Maybe even just try to make this movie but in a different franchise. Or just make this another standalone movie that doesn't have anything to do with Jason. Like, I would probably like this movie if it had nothing, if it wasn't in the Friday the 13th franchise. If this was just a standalone movie, nothing to do with Jason at all. But it does have a good post-credit scene where Freddy Krueger drags Jason's mask to hell. No joke, that's my favorite part of this movie. Blowing through these. Number 23, A Nightmare on Elm Street Part 5, The Dream Child. This is the one that jumped above the Nightmare on Elm Street remake in my Nightmare on Elm Street ranking. Because I don't hate it. That's literally all I have to say about this movie, is that I don't hate it. I don't like it. The kid sucks. It has one of my favorite kills in the entire franchise. But otherwise, like, yeah, again, kills. They do good kills. But they don't do anything else. As much as I would like to put this one higher, I cannot. Number 22 is Friday the 13th, Part 7, The New Blood. Basic Friday the 13th movie with a girl with telekinesis. That's the only interesting part, is that the girl with telekinesis is in here. Otherwise, it's not interesting. I mean, you get the introduction of Kane Hodder Jason. He looks incredible. They got great makeup effects because they got cut. Otherwise, all the other characters in this movie besides the girl with telekinesis suck. It's just, they were like, okay, so the first 3, we did the exact same thing. Now we're going to go for 4, a little bit different. 5, a little bit different. 6, a little bit different. 7, let's just do the other 3 again. I don't care. Number 21, back to Halloween. It's Halloween 3, Season of the Witch. Now, there are plenty of reasons to dislike this movie. Not because it doesn't have Michael Myers. If that's your main complaint for this movie, then just leave. Because, like, I know I'm not a huge Halloween fan, so I'm not offended that Michael isn't in this. If you hear the story where they were trying to make an anthology series, this movie is okay. It's fine. I have genuine reasons that I don't like it besides just the fact that Michael Myers isn't in it. So it's right in the middle for me. A lot of people love it, a lot of people hate it, but most of the time I hear the main complaint for it that Michael Myers isn't in the movie. Number 20, Halloween H2O, which is weird because Halloween 20 years later is number 20. Get it? But I've actually come around to this movie. If you saw my original Halloween ranking, you'll know that I was not too high on this film. I had it right next to Halloween Resurrection, and I've now fit a couple different Halloween movies in between them to give them some padding. But, Halloween H2O, I used to think it was just a basic Halloween movie, but I've actually come around to it and think it's actually a pretty decent movie. I couldn't put it anywhere higher than 20, but I do think it's a pretty decent movie. I mean, it does the same thing the other ones do, but then again, yes, I know I'm a hypocrite because I love Friday the 13th and they're just the exact same thing every time. It does the same thing the other Halloween movies do, but at a college campus, Jamie Lee Curtis is back as Laurie Strode in probably the best reincarnation of Laurie Strode since the original, and she gets to kill Michael at the end. Yes, I said that because I don't acknowledge that Resurrection said that he was still alive. Alright, breaking into the teens now, number 19, Friday the 13th, 2009. Yes, I am a Friday the 13th guy. Yes, I do defend this remake. Yes, I know that a lot of people love this remake. I do not love it. Now, I'm not saying it's a bad movie, because I like the movie. It just doesn't feel quite like the original Friday the 13th movies, because it's a lot scarier, it's a lot darker. Jason's running around, he's setting traps, and yes, I know Jason ran in the second and third movie, but he's, like, sprinting around, he's setting traps, he's going through tunnels, he's kidnapping people. That doesn't quite seem like the original Friday the 13th movies, so I can't put it very high because it doesn't feel quite like a Friday the 13th, but I do enjoy the movie a significant amount. I love the fake-out final girl. She goes almost all the way to the end and then gets killed off, and I like the 20-minute cold open. I do really like this movie, and I'm glad that Jason's the killer in it. It just doesn't quite seem like a Friday the 13th movie for me to put it super high. Alright, number 18, Halloween 2007, which, that's scary. That's my favorite remake out of the three. It's pretty much tied with the Friday the 13th remake, so that's fine. So there's 3 acts. Second and third act, I love those acts. The first act, with, like, where he kills his family, that's fine. Then kind of like that middle in between the first and second act at the mental asylum, that's where it starts to go, ooh, you should not have done that. But he did. And so, like, there's kind of like, it's like, oh, okay, that's a pretty good opening. You know, that's fine, the characters suck, but that's okay. And then it's just like, oh, forget about that part, and we got the good part. So, I mean, I like more than half the movie, but otherwise, you know, it's fine.
Hello, baby!
Yeah, number 17, Nightmare on Elm Street 4, Dream Master. This movie I've actually started liking a lot more since I last watched the franchise and ranked them. I spoke very poorly on this movie, but I don't hate it anymore. Sure, some of the kills are pretty weak. Some of the kills are pretty great, like the cockroach and the girl getting the life sucked out of her. Those are good kills, and Joey has a good kill. But they kill off the Dream Warriors right away. Because the third movie, great, it has some great characters, but then they kill them off right away, and that's my main complaint for the movie. Freddy is still pretty much Freddy. He's starting to go down the comedic route, but he still has some great one-liners, and this is probably my favorite version of the comedic Freddy. I enjoyed this film. This one's gonna get me killed. Number 16, Halloween Ends. Sorry, I just had to give some people some time to let their anger out of the screen. Yeah, I like Halloween Ends. I like what they did. I understand this should not have been the final chapter of the trilogy, but it's a good Halloween movie. I was kind of digging it the whole time. I was like, okay, this is actually pretty good. But the whole time, I was sitting there going, oh my god, they're doing this. They're actually doing this. And Corey is actually becoming Michael, and Michael's actually not in this movie. And then I was like, okay, fine, maybe let's just go this route. I'll commit to it. Corey's going to be the killer. They're passing it on to the next person. Corey should have definitely been introduced in a couple movies before this, but, that's fine. And then they kill him. Then they give us the movie that they promised. They promised us Laurie v. Michael. And then they're like, okay, now we can get to that movie. So they quickly kill Corey, get on with it. Michael fights Laurie, movie ends. Very disappointing conclusion to the trilogy, but otherwise, not too shabby as far as a Halloween movie goes. Number 15. Halloween 2. Now, this movie did drop below another movie in the Halloween franchise, but not by much. Halloween 2, it doesn't need to exist. John Carpenter literally made it just for the money. I hate that now that because this movie exists, Michael and Laurie are siblings. That whole stuff sucks. Laurie's trapped in a hospital bed for the whole movie because she got the crap kicked out of her in the previous movie. It completely undoes the ending of the first one, but it is fine. It feels like a Friday the 13th movie. Michael just feels like a prototypical big stocky killer killing people. This is the only time that Michael or Jason just feel like a big guy in a mask killing people that everyone imagines in slashers, because otherwise they still have a little bit of personality. They have a little bit of differentness. Number 14, Friday the 13th, back again with Friday the 13th Part 3D. Just does the original 2 films over again. Now, obviously I like this movie because it does do some new things. Brings in Jason, he's got his hockey mask, the characters suck again. Just does the original 2 again. Because the original is great, and then the second one does it way faster, and it's even better, and the third one's just kind of right in the middle as far as pacing. Kills are great, like all Friday the 13th movies. The characters suck, like all the Friday the 13th movies. And just does the original thing again. Number 13, this is the one that jumped above Halloween 2, Halloween Kills. My main complaint for the movie would be, it is great, like one of my favorite, this movie might be above one of the other movies in this franchise if it paid off anything, because that it was the middle part of a trilogy. You watch Halloween 2018, and then they were like, okay, we're going to introduce 2 movies. That takes away all the tension from Kills, because they're not going to kill Michael in that one, because he still has to be in Halloween Ends. But I do think that the build-up, everything that happens up to the end is great, because it starts to teeter out at the end. It's like building up perfectly. The mobs are getting together. They're all trying to fight Michael, and evil dies tonight. And then it just doesn't do anything, because it's like, oh, the mob beat the crap out of Michael. I wonder what's going to happen. Oh, he got back up and killed everyone? Weird. Number 12. Ooh, this one's controversial, I think. Friday the 13th, the original. Now, most Friday the 13th fans, this isn't their favorite. Most horror fans hate this movie. It's basically just a Halloween knockoff, but it started my beloved franchise. And I think the setting is so perfect. And I think Pamela Voorhees is a great killer. Not better than Jason, but a great killer. And she's got a good motive. I do like most of the kills, but it is very slow. So I understand all of the criticisms for it. I understand them. You can throw them out, and I'll receive them. I understand the criticisms. I just don't care. I like the movie either way. Number 11. Oh, just missed out on my top 10. Freddy's Revenge, The Nightmare on Elm Street 2. This one has jumped a significant amount. I used to not be super high on this movie, but I am now because I have nostalgia for it, and because I realized it's actually a pretty good movie. Now, a lot of people are mad because it's confusing. They don't understand what's happening. It just kind of feels like a fever dream. Fever dream? I think that helps the movie, because you know what Nightmare on Elm Street's been about? Dreams. And the whole movie feels like a fever dream. I think I don't know if this was intentional, but I think they perfectly made the movie feel like a nightmare. Because it's confusing. Things happen for no reason. And that's exactly how dreams are. 1 minute, you're at school running laps for your gym teacher who probably is a pedophile. And then the next moment, you're at a bar, and then the next moment, you're getting chased by a killer. It just feels like a dream. Sure, the, party scene doesn't make much sense, but it's a good scene. And it does. Like, the whole movie just feels like you are asleep the whole time, and this is what you're experiencing. It doesn't feel particularly a part of the franchise. It doesn't feel like any of this could happen, because this isn't, how the franchise works. Like, this isn't, he's not even following Freddy's rules, but this just feels like a nightmare. And I think that's absolutely perfect, and that's why I have it so high on this list. Number 10 is Wes Craven's New Nightmare. And no, I'm not gonna say it. I'm not gonna say it. But I'll let Lyric say it. Take it away.
His number 6 is one that we actually have a nickname for.
Wessie Newey.
I'm sorry. I wish I could take that back. Because I put that in the original video, we were like, oh, what if we called it Wessie Newey? And then now I'm like, why? Wes Craven's New Nightmare. Great movie, great concept. Doesn't particularly feel like a Nightmare on Elm Street movie, but that's fine, because this is a movie unlike any I've ever seen. It already has a franchise of movies, and instead of just trying to redo it with another sequel, they take the original movies and they base the new one in real life, where those movies exist, and the actual actors are the one experiencing Freddy Krueger. And obviously it's not really Freddy Krueger, it's a demon taking the form of Freddy Krueger, but it's basically Freddy Krueger. But I think this movie is great. It's unlike anything I've ever seen. It's meta as all get out, because this is what Wes Craven did before Scream, and I love it. Number 9, Halloween 2018. No, it is Halloween 2018. This is my favorite Halloween sequel, probably always will be, because it has a great Halloween aesthetic. Now, if you want me to like a movie, give it a great Halloween aesthetic. Make it look Halloween, use oranges, use pumpkins, use any stereotypical basic Halloween item. I will love that movie. Trick or Treat, one of my favorite horror movies of all time. That perfect orange pumpkin, just, love it. I love Halloween so much, God. Halloween 2018 does that perfectly, and it has Michael Myers, and I think it's the best sequel. It's got some good scenes, it's got some good kills, it's got one of my favorite kills where the cop's head gets carved out like a jack-o'-lantern. Oh, I just love this movie so much. This top 10 is basically, I love all of them. I mean, I like some of the ones from 20 to 11, but these top 10, I love them. Number 9, Nightmare on Elm Street 3, Dream Warriors. A lot of people have this one a lot higher on their lists. I don't. Obviously, it's at number 8, but I do love this movie. I think the Dream Warriors are great. The characters are probably the best part of the movie. I love character movies that are character studies. It is my favorite horror movie of all time. This movie got some great characters, it's got some great kills. Some scenes don't really land, they're kind of cheesy, like the Wizard Master scene, but that's fine. I mean, I can forgive a few bad scenes for the rest of the movie being phenomenal. So, number 7 is Friday the 13th, Part 6, Jason Lives. Most people's favorite Friday the 13th movie. For me, it's my 5th favorite, so pretty good. I think it feels most like a professionally made movie out of all the Friday the 13th movies. feels kind of actiony. It's got some breaking the fourth wall stuff that I don't really love, but it's fine. It's in there, and I can't do anything about it. It's got some good kills. It's the only Friday the 13th film without nudity, which, like, I mean, it's a Friday the 13th staple. Why would you not? Not saying I need that in a Friday the 13th movie. It's just like, it's in all the other ones. Why would you not put it in this one? But, it's fine. Number 6, I'll apologize right now to everybody, because it's at number 6. The original John Carpenter's Halloween. Now, it would have probably been worse if I had a different Halloween film above it, but I don't. It is my favorite Halloween movie, and it's at number 6. And I'm telling you, when I say these top 7 are all, like, I love these movies, I mean they're, like, all in my top 25 horror films. So, like, saying Halloween is one of my top 25 horror movies of all time is still gonna piss people off because it's not number 1. And I know, it's a good movie. It basically started slashers, even though it did everything Black Christmas did. But Black Christmas doesn't resonate with people. This film resonated with people. It is the first one. It's the first slasher, but it just kind of feels like a prototypical slasher movie. Because it is. It invented the prototypical slasher movie. Because this movie happened, and then Friday the 13th happened right after it, and then it was like, okay, slashers, that's the baseline slasher movie. Number 5 in the Friday the 13th franchise, and that is A New Beginning. A lot of people hate this movie. I love it. I think all of the side characters, and not like the side characters like the other people at the camp, I mean like just the random people that show up, like Ethel and Demon and Reggie, just all the random people that show up are all great. It's got a great final girl. Tommy Jarvis is kind of a mute in this, which is, you know, fine. A lot of kills, a lot of great kills, and it's never bothered me that Jason is not technically the killer, because guess what? It's a guy in a hockey mask, and I am a Jason fanboy. Jason is my favorite horror villain, and I've never cared because, like, it's the same, he serves the same purpose. Roy Burns does. The whodunit doesn't need to really be in the forefront. Like, obviously, it's not Jason, and it would have probably been better to figure out who it is. But it's still just a guy walking around in a hockey mask killing people creatively. Like, if that whole scene where his mask, like, explodes open never existed, no one would even know it wasn't Jason. This video is getting long, so let's speed through these top 4 real quick, shall we? Number 4 is A Nightmare on Elm Street. Obviously, it's going to be towards the top of my list. It's one of the greatest horror films of all time, one of the greatest concepts for a horror film of all time. I'm going to stop talking so fast, otherwise I'm just going to get ahead of myself. Freddy Krueger is one of the most iconic horror villains of all time. He has so many iconic distinguishing features. The glove, the hat, the sweater, the face, everything about him is just so iconic. Killing you in your sleep, that is in your dreams. You can't fall asleep. You always feel like, oh, well, falling asleep is the safest thing I can do. No, because you can get killed in your sleep. Staying awake is the safest thing you can do, but you can't stay awake forever. Number 3 is Friday the 13th Part 2. Yes, I know. It does the exact same thing the original does, but it takes everything the original does, which is stretched out over a long, slow period of time, and just smashes it together and gives you a quick little film, which is everything the original does, just sped up. At lightning speed, we get Jason. He's not wearing his mask yet, but he's great. We got the best final girl of the series. My favorite final girl of all time. You can check that out in my top 10 final girls list. Otherwise, Part 2, good Friday the 13th movie. Number 2 is Friday the 13th, Part 4, the final chapter. Not the final chapter, but still a good movie. Corey Feldman, great. Final girl, great. The side characters, all the kids, incredible. Jason, great. The blood and gore, great. The kill of Jason. Jason finally dies in this movie. Great. The story, great. Everything about this movie is great. It is the perfect slasher movie. It takes everything that Halloween, A Nightmare on Elm Street, Friday the 13th, takes everything all those classics did right, and just crushes them all into one movie, and gives you a perfect slasher movie. But number 1, Freddy versus Jason. Now, if you've seen my Nightmare on Elm Street ranking, my Friday the 13th ranking, my top 10 movies list, you'll know that this is obviously going to be my number one. I've said it in all 3 of those videos, this was the first horror movie I ever watched, and it is the most nostalgic movie for me, period. I have so much nostalgia for it. I watched it with Lyric, which is why I wanted to do the original Nightmare on Elm Street ranking with Lyric, was because I watched the first horror movie I ever watched with him. But Freddy vs. Jason, I still think it holds up, and I would honestly say it's my favorite movie out of these, even if I didn't have the nostalgia for it, because it is so fun watching Jason and Freddy kick the crap out of each other. It is, like, all that stuff is fun. The characters suck, and I don't care. The editing sucks, and I don't care. It's fine. Like, it's bad editing, but I love it. The characters are bad, but I love them. And everything about this movie is just absolutely perfect. The aesthetic is perfect. The feel is perfect. The vibe is perfect. The flashback scene where we actually get to see Jason drown is perfect. I think this movie is perfect. It is a top 10 movie of all time for me. And I know a lot of people think that's controversial. A lot of people hate this movie. A lot of people like this movie, but would never even consider putting it in their top 10, let alone their top 100 favorite movies of all time, or even top 100 favorite horror movies of all time. But I would, and it's my favorite of these 33 films. If you guys did enjoy the video, make sure you hit like so I know that you want to see more videos like it. Otherwise, if you really enjoyed, you can click subscribe and hit the bell so you'll be notified when I upload a new video. I'll see you guys in the next video.